Ronnie.
Celia.
So we just had like a half an hour conversation about codependence and God, what God is and what God is not. And I picked up Neil De Grasse Tyson's book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. And I was like, I'm going to open this at random and let's do the show and talk about it.
Do it.
Okay. The shape of our four-dimensional universe comes from the relationship between the amount of matter and energy that lives in the cosmos and the rate at which the cosmos is expanding. A convenient mathematical measure of this is omega. And there's the symbol, the Greek symbol for omega. Yet another capital Greek letter with a firm grip on the cosmos. I'm going to read one more paragraph. If you take the matter energy density of the universe and divide it by the matter energy density required to just barely halt the expansion, known as the critical density, you get omega. Do you understand that?
A little bit.
The
I
shape,
couldn't I couldn't like add anything to it or expand on it or anything like that. Like
no?
I kind of get it though. I kind of get it though.
Can you repeat it back to me in what you get in layman terms? Like, what do you
Well,
think?
I didn't know about the omega thing, but it sounds like, you know, everything that is in the universe, the four dimensions, I guess, being left, right, up, down, time, right? Those are our four dimensions. And then matter and energy is basically represented as the omega symbol. That's what I got out of that. And then there's a mathematical equation in there that had to do that dealt with the matter and the energy divided by what sounded like the matter and the energy again, but
Well, what's
but
expanding?
then the expanding, well, the universe is expanding, and then yeah, I
Are the,
honestly I don't know.
I don't know. It's like
I
what?
know the universe. You know the universe is expanding, though. You've heard that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So and but then once they start talking about that, it always hurts my brain because they say that it's expanding faster than the speed of light, but then nothing is supposed to go faster than the speed of light. So how the is that happening,
Who
right?
knows? Okay, let's talk about the four dimensions. You said up, right, down. Aren't the four dimensions? I would be four
So
dimensions.
something two-dimensional would be like a flat plane,
Yes.
right? Maybe you add a third dimension, now all of a sudden we're up and down. And the fourth dimension, as I always have understood, is time. That's
Okay.
fourth dimension.
Okay.
So, but I mean, maybe that's not what he was referring to, but I thought that's what I would
We'd have
infer.
to go back in the book to figure out.
Yeah, to try to put that. What did you get out of that?
Well, you know what I actually got, which is so interesting, because in the Christian faith, Jesus, who is God in the Christian faith, is the Alpha and the Omega of everything. Christ is supposed to be the beginning and the end of everything, and the Omega is the end, and the Alpha is the beginning. And so I was like, that's so interesting how these things cross over into each other and how there is there are connections like that are inherent in whatever this thing we're talking about. Like if you take away um, the literal belief system of Christianity and you look at the cosmic view lens
Put them
of
side by side. There's some things that kind of line up.
right.
I totally agree with you. I mean, even if you look at the in the beginning, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? So far, they're exactly the same.
Ah, right.
And then there was light.
Yeah.
Okay, that's also the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you can kind of look at that. And then there was the other one with Adam and Eve. What if um, the beginning of life, not just on Earth, but somewhere in the universe, the beginning of life started with two cells,
Right.
Adam and an Eve,
Right.
and they somehow combined and created some offspring. And you could look at that kind of thing that way.
Yes, exactly. I think what the beautiful thing is for me, and this is not to like take away from anybody else's belief systems, but when I release any literal interpretation of a story, whether it's a biblical story or a myth, um, I, when I allow it to be a mythological story of what we don't know, then these crossovers start to happen.
You're right. No, totally, totally. Yeah,
And
because I mean, how many times was the Bible written and rewritten and rewritten and then translated from this language to that language, and how many things got lost, right, or changed, and then you get political influences on how the Bible should be written, i.e., Catholicism, and and the next thing you know, like what happens is what you just said. Like, let's go back to the original writings. Does anyone even really know? Maybe the Bible was something a little bit more scientific in the beginning.
well, and even when you say the Bible, like what are we talking about? We're talking
The
about like
Torah,
we're
like
talking
the
about
pre-Jesus.
so many books.
Yeah, yeah,
The Bible isn't one book. It's books
right.
and books and books that were put together. Are you laughing at my books and books and books?
No, no, but that was funny. I was thinking of a Louis C.K. thing, but I'll send it to you later when he talks about the Bible.
Oh, right. Yeah. This is like many books that some people over time decided should be all, even the Hebrew Bible, like we're going to keep these books in, and then the New Testament, we're going to keep these books in, and we're going to keep the Hebrew. Like somebody is making these decisions over time.
Yeah, humans.
Humans.
And yeah, and I mean, actually just yesterday I heard that there was you've heard the meek shall inherit the earth, right? That was actually misquoted, and it was the word meek been translated so many times. It's actually the humble shall inherit the earth. And like that's a big difference. But I mean, having played around with Google Translate a lot, I don't know if you've ever like translated something in from another language into English and then translated it back and
Yes.
then back again.
Yeah.
Completely different thing.
Totally.
Right? Like words, and I noticed this too with like Mandarin, for example. Like they just use their language differently than we do.
Yeah.
Right? The way they structure it is differently. So if you translate something directly from Mandarin literally into English, it sounds almost philosophical, right? Not just, don't touch the glass. It's more like, forbidden glass, family sorrow, or something like that. I'm serious, because there's like a story to not touching the glass.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine what has happened to the Bible over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And there were no freaking photocopiers back then either. These things were handwritten. So
exactly. So you have these monks going, I think I'm going to change this to humble.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So we understand that we don't understand.
Yeah. 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 I will always be in that frame of mind.
But we can talk about it and have lots of opinions about it and think that we're right.
I don't ever think I'm right when it comes to stuff I know I don't know about.
Yeah, that's good.
At least not anymore. I used to, but I don't.
Yeah. It's like we're just talking.
Exactly, like feedback. This is just feedback on what I just heard.
Yeah. Well, in the
We're still awesome.
We're still awesome, and so are you.
Yes.
That's it.
All right. That was fun. Let's
Goodbye.
do that again, but let's get like Stephen Hawking's book. I have A Brief History of Time. Let's do that.
Okay, we'll do that. Bye.
Bye.